Don't be embarrassed of your failures. Welcome back. I'm Gila Ross, host of the Power Up podcast, where we share short, relatable ideas that upgrade and impact your everyday lives. And in this episode of the series where we go through the Torah portion of the week, we're going to look at our failures in a new light and why we shouldn't be embarrassed of them. How do we deal with our failures? It's human nature. When we fail, it's embarrassing. We don't want to deal with it. We don't want to think about it. We want to just brush it under the carpet. We like to think of ourselves as good people. And our failures remind us that we're not perfect. It's not comfortable. So how should we deal with it? A little while ago, we had a car and the light on the engine started to light up. And we got it investigated and they couldn't find anything that was wrong with the car, but they couldn't get it to switch off. Anyway, we had to take it for its MOT to be able to get another year of driving that car. And the guy told us, I'm really sorry, but I cannot pass you. It's illegal for me to pass you the test while this light is still on. And a miraculous thing happened. He couldn't find anything that was wrong with the engine, but suddenly the light just switched off. And it made me think, because the light is there for a reason. It's there to alert you that something is going on. And to just switch it off is ignoring it. Our failures are very similar. Sometimes we look at other people and we think, what is wrong with me? Why can't I have it together like that person? Or what is wrong with me? Why can't I stick to my commitment like that person? But we don't realize something. What we don't realize is that our failures are pointing us to our potential greatness. What do I mean by this? Joseph was sold into slavery as a teenager, and he had to fend for himself. Joseph was someone who was incredibly pure, and yet, if you look at his story in Egypt, what is he tested with? He's in a situation where the wife of Potiphar is trying to seduce him again and again and again. And every single day, he's got to fight that. And he almost succumbed to it until he remembered he had the image of his father, the image of who he wanted to be, so clear in his mind that he was able to overcome that. The same thing with Avraham. Avraham, who symbolized kindness, that is who he was. He was the epitome of kindness. And what was he tested? He was tested with being asked to be prepared to sacrifice his child. And the same is true of us today. When we find ourselves being challenged, being tested in a particular area, it's pointing to us that this is the specific area that we have the capacity to achieve perfection in. Each of us have our own temptations and our own challenges. And if we notice that we have an intense desire in a particular area, we should look at it as though it's that engine light. It is pointing to us that this is the very area that we can perfect ourselves in. This is the area that we can grow and achieve in. Interestingly enough, our rabbis tell us that if a person sins with a particular part of our body, we should counteract that by doing something good with that part of our body. So if we're stingy, we don't want to give to other people, or we use our hand to hurt someone else, we should rectify that by bringing good into the world with that hand. So instead of feeling embarrassed by our failures, we should look at them as though that they're engine light. We should look at them and say, what area is this? Perhaps this is my area where I have to achieve greatness. And when I'm looking at other people and comparing myself and saying, why can't I have it together like that person has it together? Or why can't I commit like that person has it committed? Maybe their areas of perfection where they can achieve their greatness is not in commitment or having it together. It's in other areas. And if I'm struggling with that, then maybe this is the area where I can actually achieve my greatness. What a fascinating new way to look at our failures. Instead of looking at them as something that we're embarrassed about and something we're ashamed about, is to look at them, wow, it's teaching me something about the potential that I have to achieve my greatness. If this is my challenge, then this is where I can achieve my greatness. Thank you for taking the time to listen. I'd love to hear your thoughts. You can get in touch with me. I'm on Instagram at itsgilaross. And please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss out. Thank you for your time and have a wonderful day.